Hello everyone, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess. I'm doing your reading for Sunday the 7th of October to find out what's cracking for you today. Thank you very much for joining my channel. The growth that I'm experiencing is pretty fantastic, so I'm really grateful you've come on board, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to have you here. The comments I've been getting are amazing. If my readings don't resonate with you, however, you can move to another reader, because very often the day readings, the one-off readings, they capture the general energy. So someone else might capture something very different to me. So, oh, that's nice though. The Magician just popped out of the deck. So the Magician is the card of manifesting. So who's manifesting? The cards I'm using are Ellen Dugan's Witch's Tarot. I do like this tarot deck. It's very pretty. So I hope you're all well, and I hope that you all had a really nice weekend, although it's only really halfway through Sunday. So, all right, what's cracking, guys? Okay, we have the Six of Wands. Really, with the Magician, that's quite an amazing energy for today. So the Six of Wands talks about winning at something, achieving something, being recognised for something. It can be being recognised for work. It can be, finally recognised by a love partner. It can certainly be just recognised for, doing something nice for your community. There's a lot of reasons why this would come up, so we might get a little bit more information as we read on. So the first card out, maybe you're being recognised because you've gone through something that hasn't been very sort of nice, and people are sort of, I don't know, maybe coming in to acknowledge this. Now, there may be some people who've had to go through an operation, and maybe there's been a lot of attention on you because of that. So I'm not quite sure why this has come out straight away, but it's obviously the energy some of you feeling at the moment. Now, it could be that some of you have walked away from a relationship that doesn't serve you, because even though you may have been in love with this person or very fond of this person, you realise they weren't the right person for you for whatever reason. And this heartbreak here may represent how you're feeling, where the Six of Wands may represent sort of what you've done and how you've gone about it. So it may be that you're feeling that Six of Wands energy and that you've done something really substantially good for yourself, but it might not feel so good in your heart. We've all had to walk away from at least one relationship that hasn't served us. Okay, and then we have the Queen of Swords here. Now, the Queen of Swords is a queen that represents Libra, Gemini and Aquarius. She's a woman who she's not afraid to speak up. She's not afraid to speak her piece. She's direct, straightforward. Sometimes she can be a little cutting. She doesn't really mean to be. It's just that she's very direct. It's the first time I've noticed the wisteria on her lap here. I love wisteria. It's beautiful. But she's not afraid to speak her truth. And she's certainly not afraid to stand in it. So I believe that some of you here have spoken up against somebody, or spoken up something to somebody to say that the relationship you were having with them wasn't working. Now, this could also be job, so we can always talk about this for job and career too. It may be that you've stood up to someone. It could have been that you stood up to someone and they got rid of you, but that you're feeling the Six of Wands energy now. The other thing I need to say is this doesn't necessarily mean that you are a female. You could be a male doing this too. It just might mean you've taken on this particular energy to do this thing. But whatever it is, you've certainly spoken up for yourself, and that's a really good thing. So I changed my cloth and I'm all out of kilter again today. Sorry. Okay. And then we have the Four of Swords. Yeah, well, that's sort of understandable. A lot of swords in this reading today. So I figure a lot of you are, perhaps a little bit in your head at the moment, thinking about things, mulling over things, dwelling on things. There's a little bit of that sort of energy here. the should I, shouldn't I, did I do the right thing, did I not, that type of energy. But certainly with the Four of Swords, there's a call here for you to take time out and rest your mind, because it is working overtime, as you can see in this picture. The Four of Swords asks you to take like it's not just it's a rest, it's like a time out, meditate, and really go inside yourself and try and get out of your head, get into your intuition, your body rather than your head. Okay, and then we have the Emperor here. Now the Emperor can talk about a father figure. He's certainly a man who's sort of come into his own. He's, the ultimate family man. He's a good man. He's worked hard to get where he is, to sort of receive the respect of his community. Now, it could be this is how you're feeling after doing this. It may be that you've come into this energy of feeling like, finally, I got it done. I feel amazing. It's been heartbreaking, but I feel like I've really pulled myself together and done what was best for me. The other thing this can represent, it can represent a person that you're talking to about this experience, someone you do respect. So sometimes this can be, like a counsellor, a good friend, as I said, a father figure, brother, uncle. Generally is a man for the Emperor, but it's more about the energy, so it can definitely be female. But it's a person that you're confiding in to, ask, maybe talk about what you've done to get like a very balanced response to how you've worked that. And more swords energy coming up here in the Seven of Swords. It could have been that you've been very deceived, under great illusion from this last relationship. The other thing that it can mean is that you're walking away now from things that don't serve you anymore, that you've learned your lesson, that you're understanding that, you only need to take with you what you need to take. So this guy has 5 swords in his backpack and 2 out here. And he's moving away from something. It's in broad daylight, so he's not ashamed of what he's doing. He's walking away from something that didn't serve him anymore, and he's left some things behind, maybe, a couple of lessons behind that he doesn't need, and he's taking the rest of the lessons, thoughts and feelings with him. Onto another adventure. Yeah, see, this is the energy you've come out of here. This is your main energy here. And this talks about coming to the end of a cycle. So there's a bit of a learning curve for you here. The Ten of Wands talks about putting down your burdens. You've been carrying them for far too long. So it could have been you've been thinking about doing this for a very long time. Either approaching a lover or it could be a family member, a company, a business. Whatever it is, that you've had to let it go. It wasn't doing you any good, and now you're about to put these wands down and start a new cycle. So it sort of propelled you into something new, which is really good, which is very lucrative for you. So you definitely have pointed yourself in the right direction and taken the right path, and it looks like the universe is rewarding you for that. This is about leaving behind what doesn't serve you. So there's been, how would you say, a realization that your value is higher than what you've placed on it before. So you may have got yourself into relationships or situations where you've been treated poorly, bullied, in not very nice ways. But doing this, you've acknowledged to the universe that you've understood your value. And because of that, the universe is now sort of rewarding you for that realization and for the work you've done to get yourself to this spot. And then we have the 5 of Cups. Now, this is a normal part of giving something away, like being a little bit remorseful and sad about what you've left behind. Let's face it, even in the most poor relationships with people, whether they be work or personal, there's always that sort of feeling inside of you of the good times, the things you miss. And unfortunately, when you walk away from something, the good times seem to stand out a lot more than the bad times did. I don't know why that is. I think it's some sort of saving grace from the universe. It's a good thing, though, because we learn to forgive because of that, because we don't harbour on the bad times or the really horrible things. We tend to think about the nice things about someone. And you'd relate to this if you go back to someone, you really do understand that. So it's a really, really good idea to go through this mourning process. And we all need to grieve, and we all need to do the tears. It's part of our healing. Tears are part of our healing. So processing this emotion is very, very important. So you're definitely doing some of that at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so this is about rebirth here. It's also about karma. So it's also about going through something because you had a lesson to learn. But out of the lesson comes rebirth. And I really feel strongly that's what we're looking at here, especially this with this sort of Ace of Pentacles from the universe, you know, being rewarded for our good work, understanding our, you know, place in things, being able to grieve it properly, being able to stick up for ourselves, speak up for ourselves. All of these things are part of what we learn. And in this karma card, it talks about, because it's the judgment in other decks, and it talks about rebirth. So what it's saying here is in order to move forward on your path, you had to acknowledge this stuff, to accept a new offer. And it could be that either you have now attained the status of the King of Cups, or you could be about to move to someone who's a Scorpio, Pisces or Cancer. So possibly this is the person they're going to bring in for you now. You've dealt with this karmic relationship here. And a lot of people understand that cycling of relationships. And maybe this has been the one that you're able to leave behind in order to move on to the right person. The other thing too is this can represent a new energy. So it could be now you've put all this away and you've learnt your lesson, that you move into this place of understanding how your emotions are, how you process emotions, and how you deal with other people. Because sometimes these things are about us learning how to temper our emotions, how to deal with things in a very logical way, like, you know, using our head over heart or our heart over head, whatever the matter may be. So this may be you moving to this energy now that you've worked through this karmic relationship. I would say, I mean, the devil's not here, but this whole thing here really feels like you may have had a codependent relationship, or someone who was you know, maybe an addict, or, you know, it was something tough here, some sort of situation where you were bullied and made to feel like not your full, you know, not your full self. So this has been amazing, really, because you've brought this all around. And it's a lovely story, guys, and you know me, I like a good story. And that's why I obviously have the victory card on the bottom there. So I'll draw you out a quick oracle card before we get too close to 15 minutes. It's a very bleak day here in Sydney. It's not raining at the moment. It's been raining a lot, but we need the rain. The farmers have been doing it very tough. There's a lot of dead wildlife at the side of the road because they can't get any food and water. Okay, so the card I've pulled for you is Archangel Raphael, and it talks about helping you to heal the challenges in your life, and talks about you developing the healer in yourself. And I think this is really nice because it's obvious that you've gone through a healing process here, or you may be currently still going through this, but it talks about you learning. This is what the healing is. It's about the learning that you've done. So nice reading for today, for Sunday. Thank you, guys.